There's no itchiness, dryness, or flakes down here.
I love Tiny Troy and his tiny, gorgeous hair.
Make every wash count.
And for stubborn dandruff, try Head & Shoulders Clinical Strength.
It's our 40th anniversary. Save up to $1,000 on a LifeSource water filtration system when we pay your sales tax. It ends soon, so call 800-WATER-99 or visit lifesourcewater.com.
Clippers Celtics, Monday at 4:30 on KTLA.
Now at noon, Los Angeles, one step closer to having formal sanctuary city status, setting the stage for a possible immigration standoff with President-elect Donald Trump. Thanks for joining us for the KTLA 5 News at noon. I'm Glenn Walker.
And I'm Lou Parker. The incoming Trump administration is promising mass deportations of undocumented migrants.
The LA City Council is set to vote today on formally declaring Los Angeles a sanctuary city. KTLA 5's Lauren Lister live now in downtown LA with the latest developments. Lauren?
Glenn and Lou, that meeting going on right now here at City Hall. Public comment right now with one person after another, mainly expressing their views on this sanctuary city issue. We did hear just from someone who has some concerns, but most of the speakers are in favor. Take a listen.
We cannot allow ICE or anyone else to target our immigrant communities and workers at our schools, places of worship, hospitals, or any other place in Los Angeles.
Immigrant families are under attack and face the imminent threat of harm and separation. As we prepare for the real possibility of mass detention and deportation, it is imperative that the city commit to using none of its resources to collude with ICE and enforce federal immigration law.
A packed city council meeting, people wearing shirts that read, "Make Los Angeles a sanctuary city," filling many of the seats of council chambers today. An ordinance that would do just that is on the council agenda. It would officially prohibit any city resources or personnel from being used to help federal enforcement of immigration laws. Ahead of the meeting, a rally of supporters, including immigration rights groups, gathering outside with their message of support and urgency. And a city councilwoman saying this ordinance would formally codify into law what has already been a city policy.
Most of what's in this ordinance has already been LA city policy, not just since Garcetti, but really for many decades. LAPD policy has prioritized not cooperating with immigration enforcement. We must ensure that when you call for help from the city, when you call for help from law enforcement, you're not afraid of immigration enforcement coming right behind them.
Last week, the city attorney, together with LA's mayor, released the draft of this ordinance that's being voted on today, making it public for the first time, but it was called for more than a year ago. It's being expedited now, just weeks after President-elect Donald Trump won the election, following a campaign in which he stressed border security and promised to deport people who are in the U.S. illegally. In a statement to KTLA, the LA County GOP party responding, a spokesperson saying in part, so-called sanctuary cities and states sound warm and fuzzy, but the protections they offer aren't for abuelas, which means grandmothers, getting ice cream. They're for people who entered the country illegally and committed additional crimes, whether drunk driving, robbery, sexual violence, assault, or murder. None of those should go unpunished. Perpetrators should definitely not be protected by the largesse taken from hardworking taxpayers. Now, back out here live, experts say if passed, this likely sets up a battle with the incoming Trump administration. We have reached out to Trump's representatives today. We'll keep you updated if we get a response. That's the latest live here in downtown LA. We'll continue following this meeting. For now, I'll send it back to you.
Lauren, thank you. Today, the LAUSD board is considering new policies to protect students from immigration enforcement planned by the second Trump administration. The board is also looking to affirm protections for LGBTQ plus students. School board president Jackie Goldberg is sponsoring 4 emergency resolutions to support those goals. Public schools currently are required under federal law to enroll any student within their jurisdiction. In California, school officials are not allowed to ask about their immigration status.
New developments in President-elect Trump's criminal trial in New York as we learn more about his cabinet picks. KTLA 5's Samantha Cortese live now in the newsroom with the latest on the transition of power. Samantha?
Hi, Glenn. President-elect Trump is attending the latest SpaceX launch in Texas today with Elon Musk. Meanwhile, in New York, another delay in the 6-year legal saga over hush money payments. This might drag on another 4 years. Today, District Attorney Alvin Bragg told Judge Juan Marchand the sentencing for Trump's hush money case should not be dismissed, but rather postponed until after Trump serves a second term. Marchand paused the sentencing again today while he considers how to move forward after Trump's election victory. There are no other details in that regard on the docket. If Judge Juan Marchand dismisses the case, it would be a huge win for Trump, who was convicted of 34 counts of falsifying business records to pay off porn star Stormy Daniels before the 2016 election. Trump still denies any involvement with Daniels. And the president-elect is busy working on his next administration, making sure his picks get confirmed by the Senate. In particular, President-elect Trump is sticking by his choice of Matt Gaetz as the next Attorney General. CNN reports Trump has been working the phones this week to drum up support for Gaetz. But this morning, we're learning details about testimony to a House panel that investigated Gaetz. Orlando lawyer Joel Leppard says the 2 young women he represents testified to the House Ethics Committee that Gaetz repeatedly paid them for sex at invitation-only parties in Florida while he was a member of the House of Representatives. Here's where Leppard says his clients attended parties with Gaetz between 2017 and 2019. He says they testified Gaetz paid them for sex using Venmo and PayPal. He also says they testified Gaetz asked them about what he called party favors and vitamins, which was code for drugs. Finally, Leppard says one of the women testified she saw Gaetz having sex with an underage girl at a house party in July of 2017.
The testimony before the House was that my client walked out to the pool area and she witnessed Representative Gaetz having sex with her friend, which was under 17. That was the first party that she attended with Representative Gaetz. She did not know his identity at the time, I believe. Right now, there's no way for the American people to decide whether or not my clients are credible because they have provided all this evidence, and Representative Gaetz resigned because he did not want this to become public.
Leppard speaking with News Nation's Leland Vittert. Gaetz has denied any wrongdoing. A Justice Department investigation of these accusations ended last year. No charges were filed. But the House Ethics Committee conducted its own probe. And the day before a scathing report on that was supposed to come out, Gaetz resigned from Congress. The ethics panel is meeting tomorrow to decide whether the report should be released. A Trump transition team spokesman put out this statement saying Matt Gaetz will be the next Attorney General. These are baseless allegations intended to derail the second Trump administration. The Biden Justice Department investigated Gaetz for years and cleared him of any wrongdoing. But the dust-up over picking Gaetz to be the top law enforcement officer in the country shows no sign of ending.
Trump won the election, fair and square, but that doesn't mean he's entitled to choose extreme, unqualified loyalists to fill his cabinet. Mr. Gaetz would be a disaster as the next Attorney General.
This is absolutely insane. Donald Trump has the right to appoint anybody he wants to, and Matt Gaetz is his pick. What the Senate does is up to the Senate, but you better believe they're going to try and get the Senate in line because that's what the people voted for.
And within the last hour, Trump confirmed he will nominate Howard Lutnick to be Commerce Secretary. That's new as of today. Lutnick is the billionaire owner of the Cantor Fitzgerald investment firm. He is the co-chair of Trump's transition team and a major Trump donor. He also supports Trump's plan to implement widespread tariffs on imported goods. The Commerce Department would play a key role in that plan. In the newsroom, Samantha Cortese, back to you.
Samantha, thank you. L.A. Mayor Karen Bass is announcing a new program to help Angelenos who had been homeless stay off the streets.
KTLA 5's Alina Abovian is live now in South L.A. with that story. Alina?
Hi there, Lou and Glenn. Well, the mayor holding this press conference here today on South LA to talk about this program that she's particularly very proud of. Now, here behind us, this is the LA Trade Tech College campus, and this is where the mayor held her press conference today. The new program is called Career Connect, and the program is aimed at helping formerly unhoused Angelenos stay off the streets by providing job training, support, and other services. According to the mayor's office, the program has already helped more than 100 people secure housing through inside safe, and now the next step is to ensure that they stay off the streets by securing long-term work. The program is made possible with the support of the U.S. Conference of Mayors and Comcast. A representative from the company Comcast announcing today that they are helping the initiative by giving the city a $250,000 grant to be awarded to the program.
At the end of the day, it is obviously our goal to get people off the streets, but it's our goal for them never to return to the streets. And taking that step toward self-sufficiency begins with being connected with a job.
Now, this program specifically works with the mayor's other program, Inside Safe, which brings people inside to secure long-term or temporary housing. And the mayor says she's particularly proud that this year, in the last 5 years, we are seeing a decrease in the number of homelessness here in the city of Los Angeles. As the very latest, I'm Lena Bourbon. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, thank you, Alina. It's an iconic Southern California landmark, and now Randy's Donuts is celebrating the grand opening of its newest location in Culver City. It's located on Sepulveda near Washington Boulevard. The celebration included free donuts and a raffle. Randy's is also hosting an in-store raffle through the weekend. 4 winners drawn from the raffle bucket on November 25th will each receive a $250 gift card from the new Culver City location, which is not far from the Inglewood location.
Yum.
Yeah.
Hi, Andy.